Rosetta with Rosetta Grows. Thank you so much for coming back. Thank you for checking out my videos and just giving me general support. This has been so fun for me, so I'm just so grateful for you for coming along. Today I have the Swedish Ivy that I propagated, I trimmed and put in water a couple weeks ago, and I am so astonished by how fast the Swedish Ivy puts out roots. It's really crazy. So I want to get it into some soil so that I can get it, acclimated to soil. If you leave it in the water for too long, the roots, I don't know, there's some science behind it, and I do want to research that, and I will tell you more about it once I have it down. But basically, the roots kind of get used to just growing in water, and transferring them back to soil later can be really traumatic. So I want to hurry and get it out of the water and into soil. So this Swedish Ivy has been sitting in, I think I showed you, it's been sitting in this, I showed you in a previous video, that is. I have it just sitting in this orchid pot for who knows what reason. And it's been sitting by my stove. And I think it just gets some nice warmth there, but not a lot of light. And when you're water propagating, it doesn't need a ton of light while it's propagating. But once you put it back, or when it's putting out roots, but once you get it into soil, you do want to have it in its more ideal location, which for Swedish Ivy, inside is bright and direct light. So this guy has been sitting in the kitchen, and I've been a bad girl. I have let the water get awfully low, which means I probably didn't change it either. We want to be changing the water. Some of the roots look fairly dry, but I'm going to show you, holy moly, holy moly. Look at all of these roots. You can see, it's hard to see with my white sweater in the background, but it has really taken root. And everything is happy. We've got a couple inches, maybe a little bit more than we need. They're so teeny tiny, but the roots are branching out. Not only do we have a taproot, but they're branching out as well. So it's definitely time. I'm sorry, roots, I let you dry out a little bit, but we'll see. Maybe it'll be, an easier transition. So I have some soil on hand. I mixed up just some regular potting soil. I also included some extra perlite for drainage and some worm castings so that it'll be a little bit extra fertilizer. So I am going to just include, I realize that my camera is a little bit high. So I just have here a little 4-inch pot, and I brought in a 6 thinking maybe, but no, it's not that big yet. So I am going to set it in this little 4-inch pot, and the way that I'm going to do this is I am going to put the soil in, and then I am going to wet it so that it's really, really moist when I put the plant in. I don't want to have it be too dry because, again, it's really traumatic, and it's a little bit easier to get kind of these wiggly roots down in there. So that's what I'm going to do. First, I like to cover the holes with a little bit of paper towel so that it doesn't fall all the way through. I don't have that right at this second, so excuse me. Okay. So I just have a little bit of paper towel, and I just set it down in the bottom just so that the soil doesn't come down through the holes. And I've heard people doing used dryer sheets, but I don't know. I wouldn't do that because of all the chemicals that are in dryer sheets anyways. I don't use them for that reason. But then I wouldn't want that leaching into the soil. I don't know. I think if you want some kind of gentle paper product, the paper towel works just fine. So, eventually it'll rot, which is fine. Who cares? It's just paper. So I feel good about that. I've done it with lots of plants. I don't know, little tip for you. So I am just gonna fill this up. I'm gonna fill it up most of the way, and then I'm going to dig out a little hole for it. I'm about there. And then I am gonna add some water. I didn't have a basin for my water, of course. I'm really prepared. But I am gonna wet it thoroughly so it's kind of a muddy mess here. It's a good day to wear white. Awesome idea. And then I'm just scooping out the center to get a bit of a hole down in there. And I want to arrange these, you know, in a reasonable way so I don't have like one that's falling out or super long. So I'm just gonna kind of start setting them. Man, this angle is not great. So I'm gonna start, just a second. Okay. So this is actually a pot I found at the Home Goods. If you haven't seen my Home Goods video, it's over on Instagram in my feed. A little clue for you, it's not actually a cash pot, it's something else. Do you know what it is? Okay, so I am gonna kind of arrange these. Some of them are longer, some of them are shorter, so I might have to fold it a little bit and get these in there, but you'll get the idea. And again, I just have like a little hole that I pushed them down in, but this is going to be a good size plant with lots of like plugs, the stems that go down into the soil. And I don't want too many leaves underneath the soil line, so just be aware of that because those could rot underneath the soil. And this is going to be nice and full. I'm really excited. I think I have plans for this plant already. I'm really hopeful that it takes, because I know someone who wants one of these. And I have a lot outside, so I can make more. That's so awesome about plant propagating, right? We get to make more. We get to make more plants, and it's just really super fun. I'm gonna get, this is looking really good. Like all the way around, it's gonna be a nice full plant. This one didn't really take root at all, except for that one tiny little root. You see that? So sorry, buddy, you're gonna pass. They do nice as like a cutting though, like just, and they smell good. I think they smell good. A couple of these, this one has some good roots, so we're gonna put that one in there. And I'm gonna add a little bit more soil, but I need a little spoon and I don't have that either. Hang on a second. The trowel is just too big. So we're gonna fine tune some soil into here and let it settle with some water. But I think this is gonna be really good. Of course, I'll give you guys an update as we go, and I will let you know how it does. I definitely put it in some well-draining soil. I'm going to put it in a bright and direct spot now that it's in soil. Again, it was in my kitchen by the back door, but that's not great light. So it seems to be a good propagating spot, but not good for growing too much. So this is about set. I mean, check that out. I'm really hopeful if it like takes root again in the soil. I'm gonna be really pleased, and I'll probably be making a couple more of these because I have a big one in the back. So you see it's dripping down. I'm thoroughly watering it so that it all stays wet. I'm gonna leave it wet too. I'm gonna probably check on it every couple days just to make sure it doesn't dry out for the first week or two. I'm gonna make sure that it's, you know, nice and wet, kind of emulating the water environment that it was in, and then kind of gradually let it dry out. My large Swedish ivy in the back outside dries out completely, and then I water it. So this is gonna get that kind of treatment once I know that the roots have really taken root, and I'm getting maybe some new growth that'll help me to decide And I think, yeah, thinking that's looking pretty good. Let's see, oh, it's dripping there. So that's the next installment of Propagating the Swedish Ivy. I'm really excited, and I hope that you tune back in when this is growing so full and wild and it's trailing. And do you hear that plant? It's gonna be wonderful. You're gonna be great. I can't wait. So thanks for checking back in. I'm super excited about this. And again, if you have any tips for me on Swedish Ivy, I'd love to hear them. I have heard from a couple people who are trying to get their hands on a Swedish Ivy. Unfortunately, they're not local, so I can't share. I guess they were a really popular plant, you know, a couple decades ago. And so we're reviving it. Let's revive the Swedish Ivy popularity. I'm totally in. I'm totally in. If you're local, we can get going on this. We'll multiply. All right, guys, that's it. So easy, right? Put it in some soil and just hope for the best. Send it well wishes, if you will. I'd love if you could comment and subscribe. I'd love if you could hit like. Thank you so much. That really does help. And if you hadn't seen the video where I started the propagation and the little mini update I included, I'll have that linked somewhere around here. So go ahead and give that a view, and you can see our progress so far. And I will hope to give you more progress later as it takes off and is so beautiful. So thanks, you guys. Have an awesome day. We'll see you next time.